to the identity. These are the same sureties that the accused person has been presenting in courts while applying for bail. He presented them at LDC in the case of simple robbery, and later in High Court in the case of aggravated robbery. These two courts found them substantial and granted him bail. The bail form shows the accused person appearing on fixed dates without absconding. The applicant wants to use the same sureties to stand for him in this case. The state's opposition is that each bail application is a fresh application, and the court must be convinced that before it grants bail to the applicant, Though I agree with the state on such submission, I disagree with him on his submission that the conduct of the applicant while on bail in previous matter is material to his new application. Objection 13M provides for the conditions to consider, and one of them is whether the applicant has on previous occasion, when released on bail, failed to comply with his or her bail terms. The previous performance of an accused granted bail is paramount. If a person never absconded and religiously attended trial, then that fact can convince court to consider him on bail also. On his antecedents, state still insists that a person who is convicted of aggravated robbery should not be considered on bail. Counsel for the accused thinks otherwise. To him, one conviction does not amount to a staggering record. I have pronounced myself on this issue, having read the case of retired Colonel Dr. Isreal Wasswa versus Uganda, criminal application number 87 of 2016, where Justice Wilson Masaru Musene, may he so rest in peace, in his ruling on bail application at page 6, remarked regarding the antecedents of the applicants. And that's what court had this to say. That it would be a mockery of justice, of the judicial process, and a miscarriage of justice if bail is granted to a person who has a staggering record of previous conviction to his name. In that case, court granted bail to the applicant for he had no criminal record against him. In my previous ruling on this matter, this is what I have to say. At this stage, court is aware that the applicant is still an accused person, presumed to be innocent as Article 28(3) of the 1995 Constitution of Uganda as amended. I have also read the case of Dr. Isreal Wasswa versus Uganda cited above. In the guidance, state talks of a staggering criminal record, meaning of staggering as can be deeply shocking, overwhelming, which would imply a criminal who has had previous convictions, meaning many. In this case before me, A8 Wasswa Israelite, who is now A7, was convicted only once as per the court record. He served his sentence and finished. So what is his fate when he's charged of another criminal offense? Of course, he can't be treated as a first offender. His character comes into issue compared to a fresh applicant. Criminal law has other factors considered like public interest, a need for a just society, and also this court has to be mindful of the protection of people's liberties, including those of former convicts accused of committing other offenses. It's a balancing tool. Under criminology and penology, among the imports of criminal law is to punish the offender, to rehabilitate him or her and become a good citizen. When a convict serves his or her sentence, finishes it and is discharged, he or she comes back in society, and the thinking is that he or she is a changed person. Once it's alleged that he or she has committed a fresh offense, then the criminal law principles, even the presumption of innocence of that person until proved guilty by the state, comes into play. Failure by this court to recognize that would imply judging him guilty indirectly before the due process of the law. On applicant number 2, just looked at his shoulders. Where are you? You also stand up. I have looked at the shoulders. They are his biological parents, aged 57 and 54 years respectively. Residents of Jinja City. They presented the identification, LOC1 and national ID. state submitted that they are elderly and may not compel the chosen person, who is their son, to come to court. Secondly, that they don't come from the jurisdiction of this court. I agree with that submission. This court does not take the operations of Ginger. But the fact that a surety comes from outside the court is not a complete bar for him to stand as a surety in court, so long as he or she is a person of good standing in community, has a place of abode, and can be easily traced in the case of abscondment. Surety number 1, Mr. Byachika Siraj, though this court is a businessman operating a business of spare parts and scraps operating from Ginger. He submitted his trading license for this year. He submitted a land title where his home sits, measuring approximately 6 acres. I need to state and re-emphasize that someone's godparents are his God on earth. They carry the primary responsibility over their child irrespective of the age. And one cannot determine who his parents are. Those that produce to you are the ones, whether poor or rich. It would be better for the applicant to present his biological parents to stand for him or her, rather than getting professional sureties who are just hired and easily get recommendation from unscrupulous LC officials and come to high court. This court released some chosen persons like A3, I think that's Moses, A6, A7, and A10. They have all been attending court on fixed dates. The applicants need just to do the same if released on bail. Jamil, do you understand English?
Yes, sir.
What's you understand English?
Yes, sir.
What have I just said?
You are saying that at the beginning you released some of the case people on bail and they are responding, they are having the court say they are needed.
Yes, and the applicants need to just do the same if released on bail.
And even others, we are supposed to do the same story if we are released on bail.
I therefore find the application for bail meritorious and grant the applicant bail on the following terms. Number 1, each applicant is granted bail of 2 million shillings cash. Each surety is bonded to pay 10 million non-cash. That is condition number 2. Condition number 3, the applicants are strongly warned not to interfere with the state witnesses, which are the interpret.
Kyomulanzi w'ekitiibwa akkiriza okweyimirirwa kuba bano abateekamu okusaba bajja kusasula miliyoni 2 mu banka ez'obuliwo. Mwaba beeyimiridde buli omu miliyoni 10 ez'obutaliiwo. Ate akakkirizaako okusatu nti temuyingirira bajulizi oba bujulizi obugenda okuleetebwa oludda oluwaali.
That includes calling them,
okubakubira amasimu,
meeting them,
okubasinkana,
or making any suggestions,
oba okwogera ku kintu kyonna kyonna nga kikwataganya
trying to interfere with the state.
nga kigezaako okuyingirira ku bujulizi.
Condition number 4, both applicants must attend court without fail.
Nti abasabye ababiri bamulanzi bakkiriza mulina okujja mu kooti awatali kulemererwa.
And any absence
okubulawo kwonna
must be lawfully excusable by this
kirina
court.
okuba nga okikoze mu ngeri y'amateeka so si kubulawo obubuzi nga tolina nsonga
Condition number
yonna.
5,
Ensonga ey'okutaano
the accused stroke the applicants
nti mwaba babirwa bakkiriza
must desist
mulina okwewala
from addressing press conferences
ogenda okwogera mu conferences oba
or media,
mu
or
byamawulire
any form of social media
oba ebintu byonna byonna
utterances
empulirizaganya yonna yonna ey'abantu
concerning this case
ebikwatagana ku musango gwo
while on bail.
nga muwozebwa nga mukyava bweru.
This condition applies all accused persons whom I released on bail.
Nti era zino ensonga wataddewo bonna bonna bukola ku mwenna beyata.
It's a rule of sub judice to comment on a case that is in court.
Kiba kimenya amateeka kwogera ku musango kyawulirwa nga tegunnaba.
Moreover, you who is a party in court.
Naddala gwe ali ku musango ogwo kennyini.
Secondly, I re-emphasize that when I released the co-accused,
nti era ddala munagamba nti bwe yata kumwe abaawo
they have all been attending court.
era bonna bonna babadde bajja mu kooti.
And you've not seen court having any problem with anyone.
Era nga kooti mugirabye tebadde na buzibu na muntu yenna.
So do the same.
Kale nammwe
We shall not have any issue with you.
tajja kuba na nsonga
The
yonna.
lawyers will do their work
Balooya bajja kukola omulimu
until
gwabwe
this case is
paka
concluded.
omusango guno bwe gunaggwa.
So that is the ruling of court.